Hi there, guys. Welcome back to the Drive Back YouTube channel. Garrett and Adrian here,
Hey,
here to do a movie review. We haven't done one of these since The Conjuring 3, and since we just did a franchise fever for the Fast and the Furious entire universe, we thought we would do a review for F9, which just released as of this will be coming out on Sunday, the 25th, I believe, which was 2 days ago. But yeah, let's go ahead and without any time wasting, let's go ahead and jump right in. F9 The Fast Saga is directed by Justin Lin and stars Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, and John Cena. Cypher enlists the help of Jacob, Dom's younger brother, to take revenge on Dom and his team. So, Adrian, as the biggest fan of this franchise, what were your thoughts? What did you think of F9?
I this is going to be crazy to say, but I think this movie might have been a little too crazy for the Fast and Furious franchise.
Okay.
Um, we're not doing spoilers, I'm assuming.
We'll just do a spoiler-free review. There's no real reason to do a spoiler-filled one. There's not really.
Sure.
I mean,
Okay, there's a couple things that happen. Like they do a couple of this isn't really a spoiler, but they do a couple flashbacks, and the casting in the flashbacks is absolutely atrocious. For
yeah.
like Oh, without spoiling it, I saw it with my girlfriend Cassidy, and she looked and she went, "Is that supposed to be this person?" And I went, "Yes." And then she went, "What?" And then we just laughed for like 10 minutes. But this whole movie, well, it was fast and it was definitely furious and it was all that. There were just so many times in this movie that I think took me out because it was too ridiculous. And I think that the other ones, while they've all been pretty crazy and pretty out there, I was at least able to kind of stay in the movie. But with this one, especially some of the contrast that was happening, you've seen this in the trailer, but the astronaut suits and all that, like the contrast between what was happening here and what was happening there, just felt so silly
Mm-hmm.
that like while watching it, it would cut to the astronaut suit scene, and I would just it'd be so quiet and still and ridiculous that I couldn't help but laugh. I thought there were some cameos, and some bringing together of the Fast family. If you know anything about the cast list, you know what I'm talking about. But I won't spoil it for those of you who haven't seen. But there are some returning. The group kind of somewhat comes together, and I thought that was pretty fun. Just some interesting visuals, I guess. But the story itself as well was just kind of a little bit more complex than I think it needed to be, and I think they tried a little too hard on this one.
Yes. I would say that since the kind of revitalization of the franchise with Fast Five, which is where the movie started to go up for me, if you remember the franchise fever, this movie is clearly the worst of the newer
Of
ones.
the newer, yeah.
Yeah, this, and I think I'm ripping this directly from Moist Critical in his channel. This movie feels like a parody of itself. Like there's no like they take all the things that people joke about the franchise and people like make things about online and put it into the movie with no care or thought to how it would affect the film. There's also just no stakes in this movie. This movie feels like it doesn't have a plot. Like it's
Ooh,
half yeah,
no steak.
it's like half flashback, and then when it's not a flashback, it's action sequences. Like there's something about a device. Again, there's another world-ending device out there that they have to, get from the bad guy before the bad guy can use it. It's a retread of the same plot, just with different sequences. It's just it like the best way I can sum this up is I saw this with my friend Kevin, who is a massive fan of the franchise, similar to you, and we were sitting there in the theater, and there were people there were people in the theater, which was refreshing after COVID. But they were not laughing with this movie; they were laughing at the movie.
Yes, definitely.
This movie is it more than jumps the shark. I think this
Yeah.
franchise has gone into full self-aware territory, and not for the good.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of things that could have made this movie better, like this world-ending device. We didn't get any glimpse into how deadly it is.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the other films, you always get kind of like a taste or like a projection model or something that at least shows like this is what will happen. This one, I think the concept was a little too vague and too, I guess, like tech driven that they couldn't really show you what would happen. But that I completely agree. That led to there being zero stakes. It felt more like it was about, I guess it was, but it was more about the brother story than it was about saving the world this time. And I think that specifically is where they misstepped. I think that the brother scenario should have been a C plot to the story, and the main arc should have been saving the world, as they always have been. That's always been the case. The character development always took a back seat to the main story, and in this one, they really tried to focus on character development, which they just aren't good at.
Nope.
Fast and Furious character development consists of one-liners scattered throughout 9 films, and this one tried to actually give Vin Diesel depth, and it didn't work at all. He should just drive fast.
Yes,
and that's all he should do.
I will say they do actually give John Cena's character quite a bit of development for someone
better than Vin Diesel,
who's in the film for the first time or the franchise for the first time, and I actually like
way
his
better.
character.
Probably the best, yeah,
probably the best in the movie. And for it being his first time in the franchise, I think he actually does a very good job. And I think John Cena is actually an immensely talented actor. I haven't seen him in a movie that I haven't liked him in.
I'd agree.
So I think he's a natural fit for the franchise. And I think it was Vin Diesel in an interview said that he sincerely believes that Paul Walker sent John Cena to be in the franchise, which was like, okay, that's kind of touching, but it's still Vin Diesel, so he's kind of crazy.
And really, out of everybody, Paul Walker went, you know who this franchise needs?
John Cena.
John Cena. He's up there in racing heaven, and he goes, "Hey God, I got a favor to ask. You know your favorite son, John Cena. I'd like to put him in Fast and Furious.
Your favorite son." One thing I also will point out is there is a part at the end, the very specifically right before credits roll, that is a very nice sequence.
Yes.
Which I will not spoil for this.
It has leaked online. If you are one of those people that wants to go watch it, I did see that scene, unfortunately, before I saw the movie.
Oh, I did not. So
it leaked, yeah, and I was on TikTok, and it was like, I thought it was a joke. It was like Fast and Furious 9 leaked, and I was like, no way. And then it 100%. And it was 100% a leak
instead of not taking a chance. But yeah, I mean, this movie felt like stakeless because they joke about it in the movie, and these characters are just immortal. There's nothing that can kill them or harm them, and I've had friends tell me you just look at this as a superhero franchise. And
well, that's what everyone is trying to pitch the Toretto family versus Avengers. Everyone wants to see them fight it out.
All of these different pairings, like the Jurassic World and Fast and Furious one, I do kind of want to see, just because I want to see Tyrese Gibson running away from a T-Rex, like, oh no. And
see that they are still fun. This one just I think went a little too far, but the characters are still fun, and I do want to see them.
Yeah, I think the characters are still fun. I mean, there is a character that, if you've seen the trailers, you know this character returns, and their return is not explained in a satisfying way.
I would agree.
I think it's a shoehorned way in, but it is nice to have that character back. And the side characters that come with it, even though one of them is, one of my least favorite parts of the franchise.
And one of them looks severely different than they did.
Yes.
Actually, both of them look severely different than they did.
Well, it's been how long? Like 20 years or something like that?
Yeah, and you can tell.
Oh, yeah. But, I got nothing really else to say about this movie. Anything else you want to say before we drop a review?
Yeah, there's a scene, without giving spoilers, but there is one scene that I personally did like that didn't really make sense, but I liked it, and it was when there's a scene where they have to split up, and Dom's character says, closes the door on everybody and says, I gotta do this. And, goodbye, kind of thing. And then goes and basically does, the most superhero combat sequence I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And then has the strength of 10,000 men imbued within his arms. But I did like it because to me, again, with this whole thing of like they're immortal and all that, that scene specifically, to me, for the first time in 10 films, showed the actual willingness to die for the cause. And to me, that just that showed a little bit of weight, but then it was it was a flashing glimpse of credibility, and then that was over. But yeah, I think this movie, I would totally agree, it jumped the shark. I think this movie just really, if 8 was the most fun film for me, this movie took all the parts that I joke about and made it the entire movie. And that was just a little too much. There was very little things that were serious in it. The dialogue was pretty rough throughout the whole thing. I found myself laughing at a lot of these moments that were supposed to be really serious.
Laughing at them, not with it.
Laughing at them.
Yes.
Like specifically, I'll allude to it, but when he's handing John Cena something at the end, that was just the most ridiculous scene I've ever seen in my life. That was supposed to be super sentimental and super serious, and it just totally missed the boat on this one. But a lot of fun car scenes actually, so there was some fun stuff there, but just a little too fast and furious for my liking.
Which is
maybe I'm getting old. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I don't like to go fast anymore.
Or maybe, just maybe, at 10 films now, it is overstaying its welcome.
People are like, okay,
maybe.
We get it.
I will say, if they are making F10, and if it's not called FX, I don't know what they're going to call it.
That's a great idea.
If they're going to make F10, it's going to be the end game, right? It's going to have everyone.
Of course.
And I cannot wait to see. Well, it's a little bit of a spoiler. We'll talk about it after the review's over. But all these characters that are good versus maybe the one person we know for sure is going to be on the other team. Like, how is that final fight going to go? They have to drop the joke about them being immortal. They have to have stakes. There has to be tension. There better be some character death. Like in the
I'd agree.
If you're going to end this franchise, end it on a dramatic and somber note. Don't just, lightly step around it and joke the whole time.
Yeah, I think that would also give every other movie the weight that it needs, because you would be watching 1 through 9 knowing that some of these characters die. And it would give this weight to it of, this is the life they lived and they're gone now.
Yeah.
And I think that would add, I agree, I think that would add a ton to it. And I will also say that whatever the 9 or 11 films with Hobbs and Shaw that come out, that box set is going to be sitting right there. I'll tell you that much. Whatever that limited edition, I want a real wheel from the set.
Or the case is just a charger, and each part of the car is a case.
That'd be awesome. I'm so excited to see whatever special edition, because I know it's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah.
And I know it'll be a fun ride, but I guess we're like 4 years away from that now.
I think they're filming 10 right now, aren't they?
Maybe 3 years.
Maybe a year or two. Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyhow, let's go ahead and wrap up this review. Fast 9 is available in theaters, nowhere else. It was exclusively a theatrical release right now. Probably be in theaters for about the next month and a half, so you can go and see it. Even though, no matter what we both say, it is a great movie to go back to the theaters for, if you haven't gone
I think it's
yet.
a big blockbuster, yeah.
We're getting into the summer season anyway, so... but Adrian, as the biggest fan of the franchise here, what is your review for F9?
Yeah, I think this movie it's still a Fast and Furious movie. Like, it was nice to return. It did feel like family. It does feel like returning home to something. So that was always really nice. And I did have a really fun time watching it. While I did laugh at it and with it at times, I did find myself definitely thinking this was a step... that's weird to say. It's a step up in effort and a step down in execution. I think they shot for the stars on this one literally and just missed, and it ended up hurtling off in a ramshackle way into space. And I think that really showed while watching. I think a lot of people in my theater agreed we're laughing at instead of with for a lot of it. But because of that, I gave this movie a 68.
Okay.
I think this movie still has some good moments to it, and some cool action sequences, which are what the whole point is. But the focus on the plot was misdirected or misfocused upon, and I think that really created kind of this weird storyline of we were supposed to care about one thing more than the other, but didn't, and it just got a little away from itself.
Yeah, I think this movie fully jumped the shark. I think the franchise has overstayed its welcome. I am excited to see the 10th one because it's going to be like this end game like final battle, hopefully. So I am looking forward to that. But this one, as a film, while it is still fun, and my friend and I had fun in the theater watching it, maybe more so at the movie's expense, but still had fun in the theater. This is clearly the worst since Fast 4. So I gave this one a 39.
Nice.
So, but that is our review for F9. I look forward to FX if and or when the channel is still around, if it comes out. We really look forward to seeing that one. Anything else, Adrian? If they want to follow us, where can they do that?
We're right here on YouTube. Go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell. We do post exclusive content here on YouTube where we can actually see you and you can see us. We post things when movies have just come out. We go ahead and we talk about them here outside of the actual podcast, just so you can kind of get a quick glimpse. Right, Fast and Furious just came out. Now you have our review. Decide whether you want to go see it or not. But if you are looking for us on anything else, we are the Drive Back Podcast everywhere. We're pretty active on Instagram, talking to the community. We post our updates there whenever we have new episodes. As we also post little quick reviews. If we're not going to do a full episode, something doesn't necessarily deserve an hour-long review, we'll just go ahead and post a quick little video there, give it a score. And that way you can know right away and see if it's something you might want to do for that weekend or that night. And then, yeah, the Drive Back Podcast everywhere. Go ahead and follow us, and we'll say hi, and then we'll say hi back.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe, just like Adrian said. And we'll see you next time on another film review here on the channel.